On this episode of Beer, Blues, and BS, I don't know what happened or how I ended up on the floor. I guess that's a mystery we'll have to find out, and I'm sure it was probably a good time. So let's solve this mystery together as we find out what is on this show. I'm sure interesting stuff, but I have to assume it was good because you're here. When you're here, you're in a good place. Welcome to the show.
It's Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder. Pour a cold beverage, porpoises, enjoy time with friends.
Triple B! Well, the Triple B sucks. Okay? Oh, come on.
Whatever, man. This is Beer, Blues, and BS. Online at beerbluesbs.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast that probably should have stopped drinking last week. But when have we ever followed the rules? I am your host, the living embodiment of Charlie Brown, Howard Blues, here, as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Aurelius Kidder. Kidder, how you doing this evening?
That's a throwback. Good God, man. I, unlike you, am not living in the past. I am here, ready to roll and have a good time. People are wondering why I said that. And you may wonder too. But you've been drinking, so it's fine. Everything is fine. It's good. I have breaking news that is a week old to share tonight, and we're going to get to it at some point. Also, Howard has a story that he needs to get to because he's in the right mood. It's that story time from Howard's sweet spot where we're going to enjoy hearing what he has to say coming up in a few minutes as well. But overall, you know what? It's another week ready for some more shenanigans all through this episode. 2 weeks of shenanigans. Unbelievable. Somebody's going to get pistol whipped, and it's probably going to be JS because of the amount of guns he has around him. Let's be honest. Just gravity, I tell you. It's unbelievable. Speaking of that, we do have coming back week 2 in a row. Or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Howard probably knows, but he's been drinking. Many weeks in a row, joining us once again, it is JS Gunslinger, straight from the kitchen, it looks like, and next to the bar.
As it should be.
Yeah, perfect place. There's the bar. Lit up for Christmas.
Right. That's right.
Lit up for the Triple B.
Mm-hmm. Doing good this week. Got some interesting beers. You guys had a couple of them on the show last week, but we got a new one for the show this week. So instead of the fancy cocktails, we're gonna do a throwback and throw some beers back.
Awesome. I love it.
Won't.
Howard's committing acts of treason over at his basement.
What? You mean this? You mean this? Get her the liquid gold, solid gold, I should say. Howard's still feeling last week.
Did you throw up? Are you okay?
I might be having a stroke. Who knows?
You smell toast. It's funny, is that?
At this point, I'm pretty much toast.
He is toast, right? All right. The knowledge to get us through this episode, you already saw pop up briefly. Thanks for being here for yet another week, Doc. I'm glad that you keep coming back for the punishment.
I don't know. You put the pressure on me every week, and I feel like I fail to deliver. So,
No.
but I guess I'm not alone in that regard, am I?
That's why we have the
glad to be here.
fives of views.
Glad to be here.
Our viewership's at record high 5s of 5s, maybe even 10s at this point.
Wow.
Thank you, by the way, all 5 of you. Comment below. Local Geek, thank you. Howard, thank you. JS, thank you. Doc, thank you. Who else watches this show?
You think I watch this show? No.
And with that, it's time for everybody's favorite segment on the show because Howard's been drinking. What's on tap? Round 1. Say it, Howard.
Drink.
There we go. Who do you want to go first? You?
You know, I think JS went out and got this thing that he brought me and brought you, and I know I'm gonna have it. You're gonna. I don't know if Kendra's gonna have it. JS is gonna have it. JS, do you want to introduce this fine beverage that you're making us drink?
Well, gentlemen, when I was at the local liquor establishment expanding my bar, I came across a beautiful bottle that I had to have. It had Kidder's name written all over it. It is the Boulevard Brewing Company Cherries Jubilee Quad Barrel-Aged Cherry Ale. Made by the Boulevard Brewing Company out of Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City.
It is
For a second, I was
Oh
hoping
my
I
God.
didn't get that,
It is
but then
a-
I remembered.
It is a 12.9% alcohol beer.
Yeah.
What was that?
Howard just hung up his headphones. He's done.
12%?
It is 12.9%.
12 point. Oh my goodness.
A 12-9er. That's where the quad comes from.
Howard left the show. He is done forever.
Yeah. It is made with genuine ripple glass. It is kosher.
Oh, hey.
Please
Practice that
recycle.
excuse,
And you can find more at boulevard.com.
Ben, what are you doing?
What did I do to you, JS? What did I do to you?
He invited
Well-
him on the show.
You invited me on this train wreck of a podcast, and
No, that was Kidder. That was Kidder. Way back in the day, Kidder's like, I got this friend, JS. I think he'd be great on the show.
so I believe that the email says Howard Blues happening now, and it comes from
He's bringing receipts.
That's only because Howard runs this damn show.
You sent the invite.
Because I had to wait for you.
Oh,
right
okay.
off the bat. It's a
For the record, last week I did suggest having a bouncer.
it's,
Yeah,
And he's right there, and he brought the
I'm right here.
12.9% beer.
So
He's bringing the heavies.
color wise, it's like a really old flat Coca-Cola color.
I see that.
It does not have a good color to it, but
Or a great smell.
it does. I think it actually smells pretty good. Oh my God. That is really good. Judging
Get it? Thinks he's gonna say
his reaction,
Run, Kidder, run.
Is it very cherry?
oh yeah. Oh, there's definitely cherries there.
Oh, God. Oh, I think this is what Howard tastes when he drinks cold duck. It is not good.
I had to do a palate cleanser of this teriyaki mushroom jerky.
Which that's saying something when you're going for like the nasty flavorless like
Well,
dirty. Oh, actually, you said the teriyaki was actually. Oh, no, actually, it was flavorless. Yeah.
to be fair, I have some of my mom's caramel popcorn, and it's very sweet. So I don't know if that affected my taste. So I'm now trying to bellow out the sweetness.
So okay, so I'm getting an overwhelming cherry. Cherry is very, very, very cherry forward. And then I get
Yeah, that's a word for it.
and then it's almost it fades in from cherries, goes into like a heavy caramel flavor, and then from there goes into almost like a scotch at the very end. This is This is like
Terrible.
4.5 for me. This is good.
I feel like this is going to be the extremes here.
I think JS is full of the third B and the triple B.
Or he's had a couple of cocktails going into this. So
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. This is to me. This is really good.
Oh,
It leaves that syrupy taste in your
I'm
mouth
gonna-
at the end.
It's gonna kill Howie, but
this tastes like number 4. And if you know, you know.
well, you know what? You should try a shot of number 4 just
No.
to find out if it tastes
No.
good.
This is gonna kill me as is. I'm gonna be like, 4-wheel drive's not gonna get me up the stairs. I'm gonna have to put on the old tank treads to get up there.
Yeah, Howard's already in 4-wheel drive. He's going 4x4 with the number 4.
So
Like this.
but my headset's gonna die on me, so you're gonna have to just deal with crappy computer audio in a minute. But funny story to jump the line here. When I went to your house the other day to drop off this fine beverage in exchange for your probably much better wassail, Kidder told me the wrong address and gave me your neighbor's
I
address
was
number
spitballing.
instead
because I
of
was off-
yours.
I didn't look it up first. I was spitballing.
I pulled into the house with all the Christmas lights on it and the Charlie Brown decoration out in front and went, oh, that's gotta be Howie's house. Look at Charlie Brown decoration up front.
Nope.
And as I'm getting out of the truck, holding a case of beer, Kidder texts me, oh, he's the other one. It's this number. Oh, whoopsies. I'm just gonna get back in the truck now and move over to the next house.
All this is probably
so part of the reason why that is, as somebody who has traversed to all of your homes with Kidder as a passenger in the car, he has them all programmed in his car's GPS. So he just is like, I'm going to Howie's, I'm going to JS's, I'm going to the local geek, I'm going to pick up the doc. Like, so he doesn't have to remember any of the addresses.
And here I was about before you said that, Doc, to say, for years on this show, Kidder has been threatening that he knows where I live. Clearly, he
His car knows
where I live.
Had he
Where is my phone?
Had I not been on the phone with him as I'm getting out of the truck, I would have went to your neighbor's house, rang the door, holding random beer, and
And if they hadn't answered, left it on the doorstep, and they would have been like,
maybe
"Why is there
Howard,
beer on
Howard.
my doorstep?"
Well,
Let me just interject with that thought that now, because you received this pile of garbage, that maybe I knew into the future and was diverting this trash onto your neighbor.
no, and I would have really loved to seen JS ring my neighbor's doorbell, because he also probably would have called me Howard, which only really exists in this podcast realm. So he'd have been like, I'm looking for Howard. And that would not have helped him in any way. Shape.
It would be awesome though if your neighbor was named Howard. If only.
Yeah. It's something close actually to Howard, but not. And it's the last name. In fact, when he introduced himself, I immediately forgot his first name, and I latched onto his last name and thought it was his first name, because he's one of those people that has a last name that could easily be a first name. And it wasn't until like a year and a half later, my wife's like, "Hey, just so you know, his name is actually this." I'm like, "Oh, thanks." I had that wrong for a while.
I have a student who has that, like last name could also be a first name, and so he chooses to flip them, which is really, really confusing, because when you're talking to him, he uses his last name as his first name, but on all of his records, the name is flipped. And so when he was coming into we were so confused when he was coming. We're like, "What's your actual name?" Because we see it both ways.
Maybe he's Bajoran.
Yeah.
Could be.
I don't want to get too far off track, but I know Doc has not had something to drink. And also, we all need to rate this 0.5. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. You did a lower. Okay, 0.8. All right. I'm coming
You gotta
down to you, Howard.
Meet in the middle.
Wow. For once, how we ranked something lower than Kidder,
Whoa.
and it even got.
You know what? Yeah, I took too long of a break between sips, and that last one was disgusting.
You know,
0.1.
I've got a fourth one. You guys can flip a coin to see who's got to drink it.
Him, that guy over there. Anyway,
Yeah.
Doc, what
Out
are you
west.
drinking? Save us.
See, I'm safe from all of that because there's how many miles between us, you know?
I could find out where you live and send you one of these.
Dude's
And
gonna
now
sing the six-pack.
trying to think of whether or not Kidder has my address, and I don't think he does.
I have
And since he's obviously never driven here, it's not programmed into his car.
You're safe, Doc. You're safe.
No, you're not. You're
listen
not
to
safe.
I have resources, okay?
I was like, he could send it to my sister or my mom. He has their addresses, but not mine.
No, I would never do that to your family. I would never do that.
My mom would never drink it. So, and my sister would give it to my brother-in-law, and please don't do that to him. So, I like him. So I have tonight to start with the Quilter's Irish Death.
That
It is
looks
a-
really good.
Dark smooth ale, 7.8% alcohol by volume. It says Quilter's Death is the namesake beer of Jim Quilter, the founder of Iron Horse Brewery. This malt-focused brew, dark in color and deep in taste, defies those pesky style guidelines. This beer is a little bit extra and will always be a dark, smooth ale. It is brewed and canned by Iron Horse Brewery in Ellensburg, Washington, which is a central Washington location. I feel like it's where I want to say it's where Central Washington University is. Yes, where Central Washington University is located. So I've not had any beer from them before, so we shall see.
That sounds delicious in the description.
Oh, I like it. It's definitely smooth. It has like some of the like very subtle caramel hints that I would expect from like a full-on stout, but it's not full. So it stays very light and drinkable. Well, I like this a lot. I would give this like a 4.3. It's good. I might have to see if I can grab some next time I head your way and bring it because I like this a lot.
That would be fantastic
Mm,
because it sounds really good.
good stuff. Good stuff.
All right, Kidder, you had breaking news, and then I got news.
So remember a month and a half ago, Lazy Goalie and I were talking about and maybe whoever brought up this snow simulator.
That'd be me.
Yeah.
That's my fault.
So there's the one snow removal simulator, but in searching, I found the other simulator called Snow Plow. If you remember that. I went on Steam, requested the ability to play the game from the developers, and I got an email a week ago that said you have been granted developer access to the game. And I was like, ooh, because I also sent it to Rude Boy hoping that he got it. And so I got some this is the first time at all that I have even opened it up.
Did it say that the publication of this is strictly prohibited and you will be arrested and punished with death for the?
Maybe I just clicked accept because that's what you do on these things.
Yes, my headset.
He was on an episode of South Park, so there's that. And this is definitely a prototype. It already like partially froze, but it is a game on snow plowing, so isn't it supposed to freeze? Just seeing head bob, auto centering, graphic. Let's crank this up. We got the ultra. Yeah, got the audio.
I mean, I'm seeing some videos on YouTube from a week ago about this. Some guy saying, I became a professional snowplower on the Snowplow Simulator. So it's out there.
So I'm just going to start it up and just, be a Mr. Plow, because that's the name of the game. Mr. Plow's
Mr. Plow.
Name of the game, Mr. Plow.
But then there's also the counterpoint. Mr. Plow is a loser, and I think he is a boozer.
Yeah.
So you better make that call to the Plow King.
The Plow King. All right, JS, which model are we looking at? Which knockoff road grader is this?
That would be the
Motor
Caterpillar.
grader.
That doesn't look like a very good plow.
Yeah, that would be the Caterpillar, and they actually work phenomenal for clearing off snow.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see the drop piece. I was looking at the front.
Yeah. No, there's a real heavy blade underneath the bottom of them, and then most of them have a wing.
I didn't see that
side.
initially. I was like, how does that plow snow? And then now I see the blade.
Yeah, and the cool thing about these is all six-wheel drive, and all six wheels you can angle to get more traction if you want to. So you can angle them. I believe it's like 25 to 30 degrees either direction.
So even
you can
like
get more.
the back four wheels can turn?
The back ones will turn left and right. The front wheels you can turn left and right, and then you can angle the front wheels at about a 30-degree angle. Yep, to help pull it, to counteract from the pulling of the blade. So that works really good for when you drop the wing down and you're trying to wing snow way out into the ditch. They also use these for blading like gravel roads and doing general dirt work and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, I think especially because the blade is behind the front wheels, so you need to be able to have some more ability to.
Yep.
And when we're looking at the two vehicles as well, the motor grader is able to put direct force down.
Yep.
Versus the plow truck that has just the force of what it's pushing in front of it as a downward force. Yep. So it can't get that ability to peel off a lot of the ice or the compact snow, where the motor grader can force the blade down lower and peel up all of that crap.
Yep. They use the graders a lot in towns because you can put a tremendous amount of downforce on them because those things are ungodly heavy. That grader probably weighs more than that truck does, even though it's half the size or looks like it's half the size. You can put an incredible amount of downforce on those things if you have ice built up on your streets and just pop that ice right off the streets, get right down to the bare pavement again. So
the other factor
international. It's an intercontinental.
I love it.
The other factor is, do you just want to push the snow somewhere, or do you want to collect it and dump it somewhere else?
Well, with either one, you would just push it off to the side of the road. And
does it not go?
No, both of them just wing it off to the side of the road.
Okay, so that I didn't see that. I thought that one, that side blade, I thought was like a thing to funnel the snow up in the truck, but I see it's just a blade.
No, that's just another blade that folds
that
right to
different angle. I was like, okay, yeah, that's
it's the exact same thing as what's on the truck there. You would fold that wing down, and then it just gives you that much extra, so you can get it way farther out in the ditch, so you don't get that real big edge in the front of the ditch. Then what you would do is you would come back with a payloader with a giant motor-driven snowplow on the front of it, and then push it into the back of a separate truck.
Got it.
So, yeah. So the truck is definitely a lot faster at clearing snow, but the grader is probably better for it.
Fail.
Well, I mean, unless you drive that kidder and then
The physics in this are something else. I'll tell you that. So I'm thinking I should probably, with my driving skills in this, and it's super icy underneath, like the truck and how it's driving is pretty well.
You better sand those intersections behind you.
There's no sand key. I can put the handbrake on. You know, do that, but so
well, you also were driving on the wrong side of the road, so
yeah,
That's new.
I don't think you have the blade down.
I don't know. I'm just trying to drive back here because I don't want to take up the whole episode screwing around with this. I want to actually, get to Howard's news, and then also drink this so I can get rid of this beer that is way too much. Okay, E.
All
right. Yeah.
I think this might be the highest % beer we've had on the show. Because Dragon's Milk is like 11. We would need a local geek to verify, but
I don't know that he records the APVs.
I don't think so.
Ugh, that's horrible. This is horrible.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. This is good. I might actually
Dragon's
buy
Milk
more
is
of this.
11.
You don't need to share.
Yeah,
Dragon's Milk is 11.
All right, we're
Dragon's
the wing
Milk is
down.
probably the highest we've had before. So, put your center blade down.
Yeah, especially unless you count the juice as a drink.
I don't think that counts as
Well, those were.
Look at that. You can also turn the side. You see that?
Yeah.
You can turn the blade. Here we go. Very good. I don't have any headlights though. Oh no,
juice,
I do. There.
Juice comes in 12% and 14%.
Oh, okay. Well, so if we went ahead to 12%, this is 12.9, so we're still doing better.
It's in there, although that's the scary thing because the last time that we had as a group like juice on the show, like that wrecked me.
Mm-hmm.
I only ever had juice one time. A group of us had gone to Thief River Falls to go tubing. And I don't remember the last part of it. But what I was told is that my friend who was along with us, who was a nurse, has never sobered up so fast in her entire life than when I started getting sick off of it. And I will never touch it again.
Kidder, this one's oddly satisfying for me.
Mm-hmm. The simulator or the drink?
Both.
Okay.
But the simulator is oddly sad. Ooh, see if you can plow the lake.
All right, I'm on it. What's interesting about this as well is on the bottom, I know it's small on your guys' screens, but at the bottom, there is, as we were talking about with the wheel tilt for the front wheel assembly.
Yeah,
it shows degree on there, but on the key, it doesn't show me how to actually do it to tilt those wheels. So, there you go.
There you go.
Hold up! I found it.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, there we go. All right, we're probably going to want to go like that.
Yep, you're going to want to turn them towards your blade. Yep,
because
there you go. Now let's see if you can get that lake.
All right,
you might have to lift your blade up a little bit.
Here we go. Yep. I'm bringing her up. Yeah, momentum. Here we go. I'll just bring the wing up. Apparently, it doesn't let me in there.
What the hell?
So let me get a run at it just to make sure. We need to
visible.
We need to make sure that this isn't possible. Oh,
man.
Because the makers of the game were like, "Why are you plowing the lake?"
yeah.
I think
I
that
am
needs to be
unable
one
to
of
do
the
it.
things that's fixed. Is you need to be able to plow the river. How else are you going to make a skating rink for the children?
I mean,
Yeah, no,
nobody's
I think I'm
making
stuck.
Zamboni Simulator.
That's not true. It was NHL 2K
No,
10.
that has a Zamboni simulation, but that is not Zamboni Simulator.
Okay. Yes, I see where you say there, drunk Howard.
Drunk
Now
Howard
I can't even.
is infallible.
I can't even put the sucker in drive now. It's I'm just high centered here. Yep. I might have to walk back to the shop to get the truck.
Put the blade all the way down while you're in reverse.
Nope. I'm letting her go.
Then put the blade all the way down when you're in reverse, and then use the angle to push yourself backwards.
It belongs to the lake now.
That's actually what I did. And she's in full speed rear wheel drive here. She's just rolling.
Okay, put the blade down. Now turn the angle
next to a lake.
No, not the wing. Not the wing. Remember how you remember how you change the angle of the blade?
Well, I can change the angle of the I see what you're saying. What you're saying.
Yep.
Look at JS. Look at him. Uh-oh. Nope, still. Okay, there we go. There we go. JS should be playing this game. Why am I playing this game? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Get a little bit there. Now we'll put the wing back down. And I'm going to take out this sign because the damn game doesn't let me go onto the lake. And you know how I feel about signs, Howard.
Yeah, I mean, I said it. Tink.
Yeah, I heard it. So I said, you know how I feel about signs.
I may have to stop drinking this cherry beer because the last swig I took of it kind of made me ill.
Hey, Howie.
What?
Tell us a story.
Yeah, you got something to tell us. I'm just gonna continue taking out a couple signs here and there, and we'll just have a nice little conversation while we end up in the lake or near it.
Do you want the news or the story?
Well, first you should say the thing because I'm already done with this cherry beer.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to everybody's second favorite segment of the show, and that is What's on Tap? Round 2. Drink.
We're going to go with everything nice because I might as well have 20% worth of beer in me.
I thought you were going to sign there, Kidder, but you got it.
Now, this has a nice color to it. Look at that. That has a beautiful color to it. And I can see all the spices swirling around in this thing. Like beautiful, like deep golden, amber, kind of a golden amber ale color. There's a lot of flavors coming out of that. Wow. Ooh. Okay, that one's got a really strong bitter aftertaste to it. The initial drink, the follow through is good, and then the aftertaste like kicks you right in the dick.
And do we have a copy of that over here, or is that one of your only there?
That was the Everything Nice. That was the one you guys had last week.
You have it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one that I'm going to have after I finish this abomination of a drink.
Don't do it, Howard. Not do it, Howard.
What?
Tell us the story, Howie. You can do it. Kidder, you're gonna have to go rescue Howie. You're closer than I am. You're gonna have to go rescue him.
I might. I'll plow my way over to his place.
Just don't drive like you're driving this plow.
Yeah. I mean, I blame that it's only running at like 30 frames per second here. That's really the issue.
President Howard just tried to warn past Howard of his mistakes.
Yeah, good luck.
Oh.
It didn't work out so well, did it, Howard?
Oh, no.
Wow.
It was a good joke that I ruined myself. Right.
The frames per second are all over the place. It's like 56, 5, 36, 42, 7.
All right. News or story? You guys pick.
News.
Okay. JS, I got some news that might pertain to you, or at least you're going to care about, because that big box home improvement store that for some reason we can't mention its name, but we'll talk about the others. The place where you save big money, actually just lost didn't lose, settled a lawsuit. That's right. Menards
is class action lawsuit, right?
Yeah, to pay $4.25 million in fines for deceptive practices around its 11% rebate.
Yep.
As part of the settlement, Menards will not advertise its 11% rebate as a point of purchase discount and will make consumers aware of the limitations on the rebate program.
Yeah. Their 11% rebate is, if you send the stuff in, they will pay you for it. But if you don't do it within the time period they had selected, you're just shit out of luck and you pay full price.
Yeah. Well, and it's not even that, because you end up paying full price anyway.
Yeah.
It's that you get the 11% later.
Yes, and in a store credit.
Right. It's not that it's not really that it saves you money. It's more like you kind of have to save it up and use it when you need it, but you have to use it there. My wife and I view it as like, okay, you save up these rebate forms until you really have to make a purchase. Like when we had to replace our sump pump down here in the cave, we cashed in so many rebate things that I bought a sump pump for like $10.
Yeah, I have hundreds of dollars in rebates, but I'm terrible about sending the things in. So
right.
I have a stack of them in my office at the salon that I need to send in, because before you only had like 2 weeks to send them in. Then it was like 4 weeks, and then it was like 6 weeks, and then it was a couple months, and then now you have a year to send them in from time of purchase.
Yeah. So that was news story number 1. News story number 2, which is going to be hilarious for me to try and read and not crack up laughing because I'm very intoxicated. But this comes from the Guardian.
The Guardian. We're going across the pond.
We are going across the pond. So this is a British story, but very fitting for this show.
You need to read it with a British accent.
No. Sober Howie could probably pull it off. Drunk Howie, no. We're gonna get. Just be happy if I could read this. So a recent ruling determined that calling someone bald can legally qualify as sexual harassment in certain workplace contexts. Judges argued that the term is often used to target men in a derogatory manner tied to gender. The decision expands how harassment protections can be interpreted under employment laws. The ruling originated from a case involving an employee who claimed the insult was weaponized to intimidate and humiliate him. Tribunal officials concluded the comment had gender-based implications and therefore met the threshold for harassment. The judgment has sparked widespread discussion about the involving boundaries of workplace conduct, and legal experts say the decision reflects a broader shift towards stricter protections against verbal misconduct. Companies may now need to incorporate updated language guidelines into HR training and internal policies to ensure compliance. Meaning, gentlemen, we can no longer give Mark Kidder about being bald.
No. It's not gender based. Case in point, Sinead O'Connor.
Anyway,
I believe RuPaul is also bald and wears wigs, but I don't know.
Listen, I only bring it up because I wanted to do that bit at the end about us not being able to call Mark Kidder bald. That was really, I only cared about that story for that joke.
Harassment or not, I'm probably still going to do it. Sorry if I get you sued.
I mean, it'll
welcome.
I mean, honestly though, like Kidder's gonna sue, the podcast for what?
I don't
How
have
much
money to sue anybody, let alone keep this podcast going. Okay,
He's going to sue him for a beer fridge full of beer.
I couldn't even
He's gonna
this
sue?
game.
No, he's gonna sue Beer Blues and BS, and the only thing he's gonna get in the settlement is the bikini.
The
That's all we got
T-shirt,
to
yeah.
give you. That's all we got to give you.
He's going to get a case of Juiced and a case of Cherry Jubilee out of the deal.
Here's your settlement.
Anyway,
horrible.
Yeah. Anyway,
All of it.
I saw that, and we often give Kidder grief about being bald, and I'm just like, I have to share this.
Hey, Howie, there's a story about Hannah Montana you were going to tell us too.
Indeed.
Yes, if I stop knocking stuff off my paint desk.
You wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I know. So this
You almost finished this.
this particular story involves a person who's been on the show, who we need to get back on the show again sometime. But it's one Farva.
Farva.
Yeah. So let me explain this in the best way I can. I'm going to try and focus here. Sober up for a moment. So my background is in education. As part of the UND education program, one of the big things you had to do is you had to create a portfolio. Their thought was that you would, by the time that you graduated, you would have this professional portfolio that you could send when you submitted your job application. It would help you get a job. Bubkiss, I never, in the 276 applications I ever sent, ever had to send a portfolio.
I thought I sent a lot of them out.
It's just busy work. Anyway, as part of this portfolio review, we would be called in front of several professors from the department, and we'd be asked questions that we had to then defend using references from our portfolio. The thing about this is that you were given all of the questions in advance, so you knew all the possible things they could ask you. So, like any good student, you prepared. You had your, like, here's my example for this question, or here's my that. You had your answer. The problem was because everybody had an answer, and because you did this, like, it was yourself and two other teaching candidates. There was three of you. It got a little long-winded, and oftentimes when you went in for your portfolio review, especially if you were later in the day, they were running behind. And so they would then be like, okay, give us an answer, but you only got a minute to tell you or to answer. So I was in my portfolio review. I was, I forget what the exact question was, but the example in my answer, the example that I wanted to talk about was I did a little observation on the reservation. And the thing was, when I did that observation on the reservation, the teacher I observed had a very, very negative view of his students and what they could achieve being Native American. And so I wanted to talk about, like, how this guy's bias kind of limited what his students could achieve. I thought it was a great answer. But when we get to that question, we're given, hey, you got 1 minute to try and tell us. So I'm kind of trying to very quickly tell this story and explain my point and all that, and it doesn't come out well. It just doesn't. And so luckily my advisor was on the committee that I did with, but apparently after I was done, there was a whole discussion, and it was deemed that I was a racist from trying to tell this story. That was written down in there.
You are, we know.
And
Yes.
I took it very hard. I had to write a formal apology because while I'm trying to tell the story, one of the other teacher candidates I was with, great guy, he was Native American. He'd been in many of my classes. He knew I wasn't racist, but you know, he reacted to my telling, like he followed me on the story I was telling. And he reacted to the fact that I was talking about this teacher who was teaching at a reservation, who was clearly racist. It wasn't me. It was, you know, so he got where I was going. But the teachers or the professors who I was interviewing with this took it as that he was upset with me because I was being racist. So I got into all this trouble. I had to write all this apology and all this. This hit me like a bombshell because I am not a hateful person whatsoever. And so I was in a very bad mood. And our good buddy of the show needs to be back on here. Farva decided, I'm going to cheer Howard up. I'm going to take him drinking. And so Farva and I went out drinking, and I got totally faced, much like I am right now. And because to me, this was like the biggest thing. I've been called a racist, and I'm not. And it was very, really, this is actually probably the first time I've really mentioned this story ever. That's not just because I'm drinking, but
You
I want
asked
the
us.
context. Anyway, so Farva takes me out drinking. I get faced. He takes me home, and at that time, I was living in a townhouse that belonged to a friend of mine's parents, along with my now wife and one of her friends. And I get home, he drops me off, and I am about in the same condition I am right now as I tell this story, which is very tipsy, very out of it. And the thing that I remember is I made it up to kind of our main level, and they were watching the Disney Channel, and I'm sitting there watching it upside down, laying on the floor, watching this upside down, laughing my ass off to what they're watching. And eventually I'm just like during a commercial, like, what is this? This show is hilarious. So they're like the two of them, my wife and her friend, turned and looked at me and they're like, You're watching Hannah Montana. It's a show for preteen girls. And I'm like, it's hilarious. Anyway, I have not lived that one down. So there's my Hannah Montana story.
Yeah.
Kind of comes from some
about
dark
2
stuff.
weeks later. I
that-
stayed there for Christmas break for a couple days or something, and was playing Battlefield 3 or 2. Whatever Battlefield was out then.
Yeah. So it was one of those things. It was one of those things where Farva, being the great guy he was trying to cheer me up because I was that nearly wrecked me, the whole thing. And it's because of how stupid that system is. I just want to say
and it's interesting because like I hope they've improved a lot of the way they do things in the College of Education there now, but it makes me think when I was in my master's program, which I was in the master's program, like the higher ed track. There's also a master's program that's like the K-12 for people who are preparing to be principals and superintendents. We had two classes that overlapped. And one of the classes that overlapped was communication and ethics. So we're in this classroom, and I would say probably 80% of those in the class were like K-12 educators, and then 20% of us were higher ed folks. And it was communication and ethics. And our final presentation was we were supposed to take an ethical question and take a position on it and present it. And our professor was very clear, like, be provocative, like be edgy, be provocative, Like, we are here to push boundaries. So because I was working in residence life at the time, and University of California, Riverside had been like the first university to offer like not only co-educational spaces in residence halls, but also like the opportunity for gender neutral spaces. So I did my presentation on my thing was all universities should offer that, which was totally provocative. But one of my colleagues, the building that she was in charge of, they had just launched the American Indian Student Services like wing for any American Indian student who wanted to live there, like to live together. And so her provocative question was like, is this actually educationally valuable to house people of like the same ethnic group together? And there's a lot of like research and discussion around this, and there's books on it and everything. But in our class, because we had the blended population, there were 6 people who were part of like a grant that was specifically to generate principals for schools on the reservation. And they took like real offense to her raising this provocative question of like, does this make sense? And one of them was the cousin of the head of UND's American Indian Student Services and filed a complaint. And my colleague actually thought she was going to lose her job over it. But thankfully, our professor had 2 areas of specialty: special education and education law. And she shut that down so fast. Like she was demanding to be, and she actually called all of the higher ed people together, and she was like totally supportive of us. But I think like part of it is as part of, and I totally am in line with like the college there, like trying to champion as much as we can to be like diverse and inclusive. But I think there was a period there where they were so reactive to any little thing because they felt like they had to be, that they sort of in some ways like overreacted to some of those things and didn't give people, like my colleague who was in this case, she wasn't even like the meeting that they had with like, residence life, she wasn't even allowed to come and explain like, here's where I was coming from. Here's what the assignment was. She was shut out of all of the meetings about it. So like similar, like you were sort of like cut off, and then all these things were sort of assumed about you. And I think they were coming from a good place, but it just like, it wasn't like for all they were doing to try to be inclusive, they were moving so far that they weren't actually like listening to everyone in the conversation.
That was at the same time as they were trying to remove the UND logo or the Sioux logo.
Yes. Yeah.
They were like,
it was such a complex time at the university. Yeah.
Yeah. I was there at the same time, and it was ridiculous. My criminal justice professor, my second advisor, was one of the heads on that whole committee to abolish the logo. And it was all kinds of backwardsness because of that.
Yeah. And also to your point about not getting time to explain yourself, again, I hope they've improved processes in the College of Education. But when I was my final exam for my master's degree was an oral presentation, and we had an hour, and half of it was we had to submit a portfolio and an independent study. And then it had to have this like overarching essay of like what we had learned about being a leader, and particularly in the education context. And so in that hour presentation, it was supposed to be 20 minutes of your leadership journey, 20 minutes of your independent study, and then 20 minutes Q&A. I never got to talk about my independent study because one of the professors who was on the panel, who was also a lawyer, got me into this whole like roundabout discussion of the definition of a leader and how do we train leaders. And it did lead to this really interesting discussion amongst the faculty panel of like, how do we train students to be leaders? And, do we need to shift the way we do it? It was really interesting. But at one point, my advisor was like, okay, hold on a second. We have 10 minutes left. And Curtis hasn't even been able to talk about his independent study. And the other person was like, well, his independent study is about leadership, so this is fine. So we continued, and I left the room fully expecting I was going to fail because I didn't get to talk about my independent study at all. And so I was in the hallway with one of the next student, like panicking, and I didn't even get to talk about it. It's one of the requirements, like what's going to happen. And then thankfully, when I came in, they said, it all relates to your independent study result leadership. It all relates. You're good. You passed. But like it was because they didn't even follow their own structure. I didn't get a chance to talk about this like key thing that I spent months on.
Yeah.
And by the grace of whatever, they decided to accept it, and I passed. But in the moment, I had I couldn't like, even my advisor was like, "Hold on, we're not letting him do what he needs to do," and they were like, "Oh no, we're doing what we want to do," and I'm like, "But that's not fair to me as a student."
Yeah,
I came in expecting one thing, and they did something different.
Yeah, and that truthfully was, at least my experience with it was, hey, we're going to do these things where you have an hour with two other classmates to describe and answer all of our questions. But of course, if you give us the questions in advance, we're going to prepare.
Yeah.
And have a very formalized answer to it, that's well thought out and covers the things we want to. But if you then take and say, you got a minute, you're editing on the fly and trying to do it. And it's already a high stress situation because, what happens if I fail this portfolio check? Do I get to move on in the program? This is what I'm going for. It's a
right. Well, and that's like in my case, that's where I was panicking because like that was my final exam. Like that's like, do you get the degree or not? And I was like, I didn't even get to talk about independent study. And in the moment, I was panicked, and thankfully I passed and everything. But I did what I did. And I'm grateful for this, have an experience a few years later where I was actually one of the criminal justice faculty at UND when I was working as the advisor in the College of Business, and I was doing like the summer program, and we were at lunch, and one of them asked me like, "Oh, what did you get your master's degree?" And I was talking about this experience that I had, and I was like, I was so panicked, and he looked at me and said, because I talked about the fact that like for about 10 minutes of it, the faculty were just talking to each other about like, how do we train college students to be leaders, and do we need to rethink it? And he said, I think the thing you did there is you got the faculty to question their own assumptions, which is hard to do. And that is something that you should take away from that experience.
Yeah.
That although it may not have felt good to you in the moment, the fact that they took a step back during your final exam to say, wait, are we doing this the way we should? And he's like, and that was a result of your work. Like that is the thing. And he's like, and actually that is what they should have shared with you at the end is like, hey, you actually got us to rethink things. Which they never really said. They just said, you passed. Good job. Like,
yeah. Well, and my thing was like, I didn't hear about it until later when my advisor called me into her office and it's like, hey, this is what happened and this is what you're going to have to do. And it's like, well, I'm sorry. I'm a victim of the situation. At least my advisor was on my side and said, hey, he's not this. You guys are mistaken. But I still have, I have a file cabinet over in this room that's over here that has some of my teaching stuff and my school stuff in it. And I still have, I think, the portfolio review that has some of the comments about me being racist on it. Because that affected me so much because I'm just not that person.
I'm not going to lie. My apology letter would not have been an apology. It would not have been very nice.
Here's my thing at the point that happened. So just to put you in the grand scheme of where Howard was in life. I know. I'm gesturing. I'm gesturing. I'm drunk. I'm gesturing. Truthfully, people find you more believable if you make big gestures. I don't know why. There's a study. Anyway,
60% of the time it works every time.
At that point that I had that check, it was my second check. It was right before I was done. I was in my last year of school, or about to enter my last year of school, and to me, I needed to be done. At that point, I was engaged to my wife. I'd already been chewed out by my parents. I was trying to be done in 4 years, and it felt like a lot on my shoulders at that time, because it's like, I what if I don't have this? You know, I just made this big commitment. What if I don't graduate in my 4 years, which I have been working my ass off to do, because people are poor time management.
3 out of the 4 of us did not graduate in 4 years.
Slackers.
I switched. I switched trajectories, so I needed more time. But
yeah,
It took me 5, but I'm still not using my degree. So,
Well, I'm not using my bachelor's degree is ultimately in nothing, but
Hey, JS, if it makes you feel better, I got a bachelor's degree that qualifies me for nothing. I have reached the peak because I am in an agency that believes that the higher the degree, the more you can move up in position. So I have reached my peak.
Next.
I don't have a master's, so
I
can't,
know, but
I can't apply for the next position up.
My transcript, I kid you not, says Bachelor of Arts, major, honors program. What does that mean?
I
So when I have to put it on my resume or CV, I put in parentheses my areas of emphasis, but my major is not an actual major. It was an individually constructed.
Mine just says BA as well.
I am a big believer.
I also have a bachelor's BA, but I mean mine's in criminal justice. But I work at a dog grooming salon, so I'm really using that criminal justice degree right now.
Well, here's my thing, and this is where I have a problem with the whole degree system, is that in some fields, not all of them, but in some fields, they weigh so heavily on, do you have this degree or that degree, that experience doesn't matter. So my supervisor, my director supervisor's position has been opened up since June. I am not allowed to apply for it because I don't have a master's.
Do they not have a caveat written out where experience can substitute?
Here's the problem. Because I have been thrown into the education team and department, their big thing is that supervisory position has to have a master's so that they can continue their teacher education program. And for teacher continuation credits, it has to be a master's or above.
Okay.
So on that,
just in the state of Washington, and I see it because we have to have it on all of our jobs. It's absolutely required that we state that experience can substitute for education, except when licensure is required. And they're very clear about it. And so we've had people who are I'll get their resume when we have a bachelor's degree required, but they have an associate's degree and they've been working in the field for 6 years. That's equivalent.
And so the problem is not with my agency. It's with the Department of Instruction here in North Dakota, because they won't recognize continuing education credits if it's not with somebody who has a master's. So it doesn't matter that I have, at this point, what was it, 2025? I started in the interpretive history field in 2003. So I'm coming up on 20 years of experience, but that doesn't matter to the Department of Instruction because I don't have a master's. And I'm sorry, I don't have a master's. And I don't have a master's because in the education, when you get a master's, you're going into administration. And
typically, yeah.
Right. And I took advice from Mr. Mark Kidder's dad about, hey, you're starting out, don't go get your master's because it'll make you harder to hire, because teaching has this weird thing about number of years and degrees is pay. So as a starting teacher, I'm easier to hire and employ if I don't have a master's. So I didn't get one.
What you should have said is there's also if you're over 35, you're screwed.
Well, and it's interesting because that's so different state by state, because in the state of Washington, they really want frontline teachers to have master's degrees. And so if you have a master's degree, you can, your licensure period is longer.
Yeah. So, I mean,
you have to renew it as often.
it's just one of those things. And so in education, it masters tends to drive you towards administration. I didn't want to be an administrator. That was never my goal. My goal was education. But we have rattled on about this topic.
Look at you now.
Kidder really wants a round 2, so.
On a backwards point in this, when Kidder and I started in our field, they wanted everybody to have a bachelor's degree. There were 6 or 7 major places in the state that would only hire you if you had a bachelor's.
And they don't care, but they didn't care what it was in, though, right?
They didn't give a nope. You had to have that bachelor's degree. You could have a bachelor's degree in underwater basket weaving, but hey, you had a degree. They did not care. Now they're like, hey, you can breathe and have a warm body. Come on down. Just come on. Just have an interview. They, as long as you have the basic academy, or even, hey, if you don't, we'll put you through it. They've completely shifted backwards on their education requirements, but it was mainly because they couldn't get qualified applications or qualified applicants. They'd have 75 people apply and 7 of them had a bachelor's degree. And if for whatever reason they didn't like you, sorry, you didn't get it. Oh, okay.
It's interesting to me, like the things where it's like you must have, because I look at some of the positions that we post out of my own department, because I have one posted right now for a temporary staff position, but it'll say like requirement, bachelor's degree in business, communication, English, humanities, social sciences, there's something else, or related fields. I'm like, so why don't we just say bachelor's degree? It doesn't matter what field, because by the time you've listed them all out, and then I have the question of like, then why do I need a bachelor's degree? If it's not in a specific field,
right?
Like content knowledge related to what we're asking, why are we asking for it?
Yeah. And, like now, like I've got just about 15 years in this field. Now, like I can bypass most of that just because of years of experience. But, at the time, if you didn't have the degree, you didn't even get the opportunity to apply. And that's honestly the main reason I went and got my degree is, I wanted to go federal, and thankfully, I don't know, good, bad, otherwise, I didn't. I've had my own experiences, and I've been, happy with them. But I got my degree so I could go onto the federal side and go that route, and I never did. So, was it a waste of a degree? I don't know. Some days I question that, but
I can't say much because I'm guessing your degree is in criminal justice, JS, and I took one criminal justice course in the course of my college career because my dad hated the fact that I wanted to be a teacher and constantly was bugging me about taking other things. I actually took Intro to Criminal Justice with one Mark Kidder, and shenanigans ensued.
By one criminal justice class that I took too.
Was it?
Where's the black guy? Where is the black guy?
For those who,
yeah,
was it?
We gotta ask and spell out, because we don't want Howard to become a second racist.
To share this quick story, we're sitting in Intro to Justice, and I always sat next to Kidder, and there were messages passed back and forth, just written on my notebook. And we got to a slide about victimology and who could be a victim. And the professor liked to use just Microsoft clip art.
Terrible.
And so on that particular slide, the clip art was all of these people of different races and genders.
A white guy, a white girl, an Asian guy, an Asian girl. Pretty sure there was like an Indian or native guy, an Indian or native girl, and a black woman.
And I just wrote on my notebook for Kidder, I'm like, where is the black guy? and just left it out there. Kidder looked at it and laughed because,
well, the look that I had on my face, right? Because I looked at your note and I went, it was a what the did you just write on this piece of paper? Howard racist. And then I'm looking up at the screen. I'm like, there's no black guy in the clip art. Why did they leave the black girl out of Microsoft clip art? And why did the criminal justice professor, who has a doctorate in criminal justice and is teaching this course, put this on the screen? What am I learning here?
The only other story, and I we should end on this because we are way past the timer. I know. Listen, we are having way too good of a time. But the other story I will share for criminal justice, because it is one of my favorite Mark Kidder moments. This criminal justice professor,
the cow chucker.
No, not the cow chucker. Cow chucker was pretty good. But this particular criminal justice, she assigned so much work. And one of the things that she assigned was these, you had to watch them. It was a DVD, and it was these scenario things. And then she would ask questions. And she decided to do one in class. And so it was this situation with the DUI driver, and the guy was bald, and he had a cut across his forehead. And she decided that we were going to do this in class. And so she's like, group up into groups of 3. This is Intro to Criminal Justice. There's like 300 people in the room. So this is ridiculous. And so Kidder and I are, of course, partners, and some poor girl who was sitting behind us joined our group. That was her mistake. And we watched this video, and the professor asks, so why does this guy have a cut on his head? And she's like, discuss and we'll share. And Kidder immediately turns to me and goes, well, I think he cut himself shaving. I'm like, I agree. I think he cut himself shaving. And the girl behind us said nothing. I'm like, I guess that's what we're going with. So with the discussion, like, that was our discussion. That was it. And we get to the actual, like, she's like, okay, let's share. Who's got a theory? How did this guy get the wound on his head? And Kidder just shouts out, he cut himself shaving. Now, this particular professor never wanted you to feel like you got it wrong. She wanted to preserve your self-esteem. And we got to listen to the greatest, like, minute to 2 minute tirade as she tried to justify, like, Kidder's answer, even though that was the most ridiculous thing. It's like, well, I guess he could cut himself shaving because he's bald, and so yes, that could make sense, but more than likely, that's not what happened.
I couldn't help myself. I was dying over there, just dying.
It was
because obviously I knew it was bullshit, some stupid DVD, and it's over the top. I'm like, this guy's bleeding all over the place. He caught himself shaving, obviously, like. The woman did not slice him with a knife or a hatchet or whatever. He was not in a car crash. He was shaving, and he sucks at life. So he's bleeding like a stuck pig all over the place. Yeah, she just kept on and on and on about, well, that's a really good answer, but I mean, there are other things that could be a potential answer. Like, did he get in a fight with somebody? I'm like, yes, his razor. He got in a fight with his razor.
I mean, it's better than the communications instructor you had that said animals can't communicate.
Yes, there is that one.
Because pretty sure my dogs tell me when I need to go outside.
Don't communicate with each other.
JS trying to get my attention, and we did. Hey, this has got to be the last thing we end the show on. What do you got for me? And on that blast from the past,
he's got the damn book.
Yeah, Kidder and I only ever bought one book we shared, and I also just want to add the only chapter, the only test that Kidder ever beat me on was police procedures. Yeah. Otherwise, PTSD. I was the better. Yeah. Anyway, with all of this backstories and sharing and whatever, I'm trying to make a transition. Anyway, Kidder, we've been talking for quite a while. I am very much drunk and would like to go to bed. We need to wrap this show up so I can do that. So please hit us with some cheap plugs, some other things. And yes, I know you have that other beer. You're just going to have to wait till next week, damn it.
That's very sad.
Listen,
Look,
Sleep.
these presents are wrapped and they are ready for me to open this terrible beer of everything is nice and everything is not nice.
Hey, unless you're coming over and babysitting my kids, I got to go to bed.
No, because I'm getting in a car in 9 hours.
I will agree. How it is a terrible beer. The Cherry Jubilee was far better than the Everything Nice. The Everything Nice was not good.
You have no taste, sir.
Okay, you're lucky because I'm putting this sumbitch back in here.
Good.
Until next week, in which time it will be definitely past the New Year and past Christmas, and I will have to suffer with the Christmas cheer for another week past when I had to put up with the bullshit to begin with.
I mean, to be fair, this episode is already airing far past Christmas anyway, so.
I mean, it's practically February at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so sad. Help us out, please. beerbluesbs.com, our website here on the bottom of the screen, or if you're listening in the show notes. We're also loving to take your money, so help us at streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs. Streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs at the bottom of your screen and also in the show notes. So please help us. As little as $1 a month, you can set up recurring subscription to help pay for this train wreck to be brought to you for free, because we're paying for this. JS, what are you finding in there? Your notes,
I'm
back, like
trying to find the chapter on police procedures, but I can't find that exact chapter.
It's probably like chapter 9 or something.
I do have that. I do have
problems facing our something today. Were any of early Auburn or something briefly described?
Yes, and the other one. That was in there too for some reason. Yes, that was the pressure point control tactics.
Oh, PPCT. Okay. For a second, I thought that was one of the bubble sheets that you ended up keeping. I'm like, you're supposed to turn the Scantron in.
Oh, that's why I got a bad grade. Okay. That's why I had to take this course twice. Did you know that when this book was made, the average salary of an FBI agent was between $61,000 and $69,000 a year?
Wish I could make that much money.
I know. Me too. Anyway,
find the chapter yet, or we're gonna?
I mean, I don't think it's changed much. It says the starting salary of an FBI agent is between 78 and 84. So,
right. I found the 4 basic styles of police. 4 basic styles of policing. You can be a crime fighter, the social agent, the law enforcer, or the watchman.
I don't see oppressor in any of those 4.
It's like, where's that?
Howard, you okay? Or are the mushrooms getting to you? You seeing
fine.
things yet?
Mushroom, badger.
I'm fine. You just need to wrap this up.
Come on, kiddo. You can do it.
I thought the chair was going to give out on him again. I'm like, we just replaced that chair like 2 years ago.
I think we're waiting on
2 years ago. It's a new chair.
We're waiting on some cheap plugs, and we're not talking about hair plugs.
Yeah, I can't afford those.
Because they're not cheap.
Yeah, I can't afford those. We are looking for money, though, so please help us by visiting beerbluesbs.com and streamlabs.com/beerbluesbs. Howard has left the chat because either he's going to visit the bathroom or throw up. I don't know. He had mushrooms.
How he's gone. Just move on without him.
Yep. We're continuing.
A badger came for his mushrooms, and now he has to go.
Yes.
He got angry. Because then suddenly there was a snake.
Snake!
It's a snake! Like the silver snakes, which are eternally the best team on Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Disagree.
You were a blue barracuda, right?
Nope.
No.
I have the blue barracuda shirt because I bought one for someone who never paid me for it, so I kept it.
Yeah.
It's orange iguanas.
Orange iguanas.
Okay, now I know what you're talking about. I was like, wait a minute, what the hell are you talking about? It took me a second.
You need to be aware, though, because Kirk Fogg could swing at any time and steal you away.
That's true. That's true.
Anyway, back to cheap plugs.
So, statistically, according to AI, thanks to AI, Green Monkeys and Silver Snakes had the most Temple Run victories with 8 each, and were statistically dominant. The Silver Snakes having the best overall success rate of the final run, while the Green Monkeys excelled in the steps of knowledge and the challenges, solidifying their status as top contenders.
Which statistical tests were run to confirm these conclusions?
I think it's just percentages off of the episode.
Yeah, that's not enough.
Orange iguanas and
because raw percentage is
victories.
The various variables that come into play.
The variable here is they had fewer appearances or wins overall. So I see a conspiracy theory here where the orange iguanas and the purple parrots were both kept off the show, therefore statistically unable to achieve the higher level of the clearly superior silver snakes.
Yeah, you can't just look solely at your sample mean. You need to run some tests across the population in this case. Or you need to account for the variable that they may have won more often, but what's the percentage of the times they appeared on the show?
Only 32 teams won the Temple Run over the show.
And the rest of them were abducted by the Temple Guards and taken to Kirk Fogg's lair. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to get sued. Yes.
Allegedly.
Looking at... Oh, man, there's a lot of information here. Temple Run winners. So the Red Jaguars had 6 wins. Blue Barracudas with 5. The Green Monkeys with 8. The Orange Iguanas with 4. The Purple Parrots with 4. And the Silver Snakes with 8. That is out of all of the winners of the Temple Run. It also shows if they won a tiebreaker or not on this here fandom website. But that's that. There's a 40% success rate apparently of hold up. There's a lot of information on here and a lot of numbers.
And see, that's where you need to run some statistical tests to see if the outcome actually exceeds the expected outcome that would be generated by random chance.
So according to this, the Orange Iguanas made it into the Hidden Temple more often than any other team. But it's not quite a statistically significant lead, because one proportion hypothesis test using Z distribution and the following hypothesis of H0 colon P equals 1 versus 6, and then you have HA colon P greater than 1/6, which gives a p-value of 0.09195, The likelihood that in a world where null hypothesis is true, we would observe a result equal or to or more extreme than the one we got. In other words, if all 6 teams were truly equally matched, then there's about a 9% chance that orange iguanas would make at least 25 out of 120 temple runs. Typically, we reject the null hypothesis. Orange iguanas are just as good as everyone else in favor of the alternative. Orange iguanas are better than everyone else, only if our p-value is similar or smaller than 5%. That is, if the results we got is remarkable enough, we'd see at most 5% of the time in a world where the null hypothesis is true, but the chance that orange iguanas just got lucky is a little over 9%, so it wouldn't reject the null hypothesis in their case. So according to this, overall, the orange iguanas had 25 temple runs. The green monkeys had 24 temple runs. The silver snakes had 21. Red jaguars had 20. The null hypothesis had 20. I don't know where that comes in. The blue barracudas with 19. And the purple parrots with 11.
But that's only looking at temple runs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more variables in there. But what did you? But you said the p-value was 0.009.
0.09195.
Okay, 0.09. Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And
I thought there was another
the,
zero in there, and I was like, wait a minute, that's significant, but no, you're right. Yep.
for the record, there's that. When the alternative hypothesis above is switched to p is less than 1/6, the purple parrots yield a p-value of 0.01393, or about 1%, and are statistically significantly worse than average at making it to Olmec's temple. So the purple parrots statistically are the worst team to make it to the temple.
I think you're supposed to wrap this up like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, there's some weird creature that has appeared.
Yeah, it's the cousin of Stick Stickley.
That is Howie angrily shaking his head at us, telling us to wrap this up.
Oh, with the googly eyes. Googly eyes.
The cousin of Stick Stickley, Nickelodeon's utmost and trusted reporter. I'm glad that he sent his cousin to be part of the show once again.
I prefer Holly B. Wood.
Okay. Things happen. Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Stitcher, TuneIn, IMDb, Player FM, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts. I said YouTube Podcasts already, but Apple Podcasts as well, and any of the other podcast places. Just search for Beer Blues and BS, please, and we'll continue discussing Legends of the Hidden Temple on another date and time. So, final thoughts, Doc. It looks like you have some information to share.
Always make sure that you look to understand the underlying principles and criteria that are used in any statistical analysis, because ultimately statistics can be used to justify any outcome if you manipulate the process toward your own end.
And I shared that, so I'm looking forward to your analysis next week of this.
I don't have time for that. I have statistical analysis to do for things that really matter.
Legends of the Hidden Temple is life.
Stats 101.
My supervisor would disagree.
She's probably a
Yes.
temple guard.
Yes, Stats 101 was the class that I took in college, and he said the exact same thing. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you don't just look at the stats. You have to understand what was the question they were asking, what was the data input, what were they doing with it? Because ultimately, I could construct any statistical analysis to tell you to basically justify anything if I really wanted to.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. 60% of the time, it works every time.
Every time.
JS, final thoughts from you?
You know, I got kind of wrapped into my intro book here again, and I've been reading for the last like 10 minutes. You guys have been talking about the Ublex Temple, and yeah, if you're gonna do an education, find one that is pertinent and relevant to what you're doing. There was no reason I had to take a geology class to learn how to do what I did. But I had to learn about rocks. Why? Because they said I did. Was it relevant? No. Was it pertinent? Absolutely not. Do I still remember what an igneous rock is? Yes. I don't know why, but I can do. Find the things that are relevant and pertinent to what you're trying to do. If you're trying to be a plumber, take classes about how to be a plumber. If you're trying to be a professor, learn how to be a good professor. If you want to be a teacher, learn how to be a good teacher. Keep the things relevant to what you're doing. That's all I got.
Or like focus on what interests you, because except for highly regulated licensed fields, most of them just want you to have a bachelor's degree in something. So make it be something that is actually going to like light you up, that you're passionate about. Like that's why I have a bachelor's degree in, which is essentially like a non-major, because I didn't need a specific major to get into grad school. So I was like, I'm going to take the classes that I'm interested in that are going to actually help me develop and grow as a person versus following a prescribed major for a career I'm never going to go into.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like I would almost love to go back through college now.
Oh yes.
Education, experience, and knowledge that I have now, and completely flip my education on end.
Yep. I would do it very differently now myself too. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Like when I went through college, my GPA was not good. When I went through my individual like academy program, my GPA was phenomenal. It just, those two, like, why am I learning about rocks when I want to do something completely different? Now I'm learning about all the cool things I want to do. So yeah, I'm involved. Yeah.
As you get more focused and things are like, my doctorate GPA was a 4.0. My undergraduate GPA was not.
Yeah, mine wasn't even a 3.0. So I was lucky if my undergraduate was a 2.0, but just enough to where they let me by. Now, my specialty training, that was, I can't say it was a 4.0, but it was damn close.
Well, mine went up. My master's was better than my bachelor's, and my doctorate was better than my master's. Like, as I got more focused into what I was really interested in and what really fired me up, like.
Yep. Find something that is relevant and pertinent to the thing you want to do. Your turn, Kidder.
Actually, it's Howard's turn.
Or Stickley needs to tell us.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Stickley. Stickley, you got this. What do you got?
Stickley's cousin.
Well, actually, it's
Forkley?
It's still Howard. It's just Kidder took so long with cheap plugs that Howard had to go to the bathroom, and then Howard came back and saw mushroom jerky on the floor, and now Howard can't get up. So this is the best you get. I literally laying on the floor, and if I sit up, the world starts spinning. So, final thought: if JS gives you something to drink, don't do it unless you are willing to spend the night on the floor and be represented by a spoon with googly eyes. That's
I've killed Howard twice on this show.
yes. Yes, you have.
The third time, don't you get like dominion over him? Isn't that how it works?
I think so. I think. Well, I don't know if I want this, but I think if I kill him the third time, then I get to be the main host, and I don't want that.
Now you have to be careful from here on out.
I know.
Yeah.
To be fair, Howie, I did not know that was a 13% beer.
Yeah, I didn't know either. And I mean, I've eaten a full bag of teriyaki mushroom jerky. I'm stuck here on the floor. I'm being represented by a spoon. And this show just doesn't seem to want to end. So, Kidder, please wrap it up so Howard can go to bed, because this is ridiculous.
I don't even know where the spoon is at this point. So, yeah, for Stickley's cousin. Oh, there he is. There he is. For JS and for Doc, I'm still Mark Kidder. Thank you for being here for this and every episode of Beer, Blues, and BS. We apologize in advance for next week because it'll probably be the same type of. So thank you for being here for this and every episode of Beer, Blues, and BS. And Stickley's cousin. Keep your glass at least half full. There's free beer tomorrow, and we will catch you on down that non-stickly copyrighted Tuscan Highway. Have a great night and see you on the next episode of Beer, Blues, and BS.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
I'm in suspense.
How is it breaking news if we tease it a week in advance?
Exactly.
Breaking news! Come back next week. It's like there was a comedian who was like, I think it was actually like an old Ellen DeGeneres special where she's like, you're watching TV, and then all of a sudden there's like promo, and they're like there's like promo for like tonight's 10 o'clock news, and it's like, it could kill you, and you might be eating it for dinner. Tune in at 10, and it's like, but I'm gonna have dinner before 10. I need to know before then.
I mean, you wouldn't have to worry about it at that point.
Well, you won't be around at 10 o'clock to find out what it is.
Yep.
You'll know already. Because you'll be dead.
Well, Samantha's like, well, be careful, and if something happens, let me know. And I said, if something happens, I won't have to worry about it. Won't be my problem anymore.
I could just see Kidder's ghost showing up, be like, ooh, something bad happened.
Kidder would totally haunt all of us. Come on.
I'm not gonna haunt. I don't have that much time, whether I'm alive or dead. I don't have that much time.
I mean,
Be honest here.
I'd be okay with that. There's worse things. I'd be okay with that. So
I would not be okay with that. I don't know that I could live with Kidder's criticism and scrutiny for the rest of my life as that ghost. Every time I'm like going to buy a beer, he'd be like, not that one. Howard.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Jimi Hendrix. So
if you want to meet me, Howard, do it. If you want to come to the other side, do it. We have cake.
Dry before I can finish a second coat. Here I am, all by myself.
I'm always here with you, Howard.
Damn it, he died in the laundry room. Being haunted from the beyond.
Don't worry, Howard. I will be here forever, ever, ever.
Well, I got the everything nice. I got the white mocha stout. I grabbed a different one, but I can go grab that cherry jubilee.
That's what I'm planning to have if I can finish this pint. Because I just wanted to get them out. I didn't want to do to you, JS, what I did to you this last year, where I took the Christmas beer you gave me and hold on to it for a full year. I'm like, damn it, we're catching up now.
Well, I'll go grab that one. We'll make Kidder drink that one too, just because I wanna see.
All right. That was something.
Glad you made it.
I mean, I'm under my desk. And I don't really want to get up because then the world starts to spin.
It'll only get worse the longer you wait.
This is true.
Oh. I still got to record an intro to this, to these two shows. My arm hasn't gotten tired from holding this spoon up yet, but I think that's just the alcohol.
You know how we may need to work on your tolerance a little bit, because I also had 21% worth of alcohol beer tonight, plus 3 cocktails.
Howie doesn't drink unless he's on this show for the most part, so a couple of drinks every other week is not going to build up a tolerance. So
I will say I have been working on mine about every night. Things will do that to you.
JS is practicing. He's a consummate professional.
I'm just really stressed out.
I mean,
one or the other. I feel you.
I am also really stressed out, but I turned to painting instead of stick cleaner. Easy, boy, easy.
Calm down.
Yes.
Yeah. I turned to other things besides drinking, and that's just unfortunately now I'm paying the price for that. As even down here, the world is starting to spin.
Hey, who is the professor that was on your board?
I forget.
The criminal justice professor.
JS, I am laying on the floor, desperately grasping to my painting desk to keep the world from spinning and being represented by a spoon with googly eyes. You're hoping I remember the name of a professor from 20-some years ago. You, sir, have very high hopes for very drunk Howard.
You don't remember who taught your intro to class?
Listen, I
She
can't.
was a doctor.